You were wondering where my kids took my car this weekend. Took my coat out of it.
You have no others? No, I'm just thought I'd ask. Your kids took your car, took your coat.
Yeah, I had to do some moving. My car is driving. They disrupted me. I blame a lot of stuff on my kids too. All right. Was I expecting anybody else on this side?
Not today.
Not today. Okay. All right. So it may go peacefully for me. Or not. All right. The way, so that, and I don't know how well we clarified it, but there were what I'm calling affirmative cases. There are 10 of those that we have. Those I'm hearing in the afternoon. The issues involving those cases. These are the summary proceeding actions, which we will continue to deal with. So court does call the case of Arbor One West versus Rico McGuire and Arbor One. And Arbor One is also included in that et al. All of the cases.
Those three.
All right. The last time when I was reviewing my notes where we were is that we were trying to organize the testimony that was coming before the court. And I believe the individuals from the city of Ypsilanti had been coming down all the time and had not yet gotten to them. And so I was hoping we'd get to their testimony this morning.
Yeah, I would like to start with that, Your Honor.
All right, very good. Who would you like to call?
I think we should start with Joe Myers.
All right, sir, please come forward, be sworn.
Testimony about the guilty, prove the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so we got.
Yes, sir.
See, first and last name for the record, please.
My name is Joseph Myers, ALCH. I'm the Director of Community Services for the city.
May inquire.
Morning. So can you explain just a little of your background with this position?
Yeah, so as the Director of Community Services, I'm the head of the Building Planning and Code Enforcement Departments with the city of Ypsilanti. I've held that position for a year, and then I was also in that position for 9 years.
Okay, and are you familiar with the properties that we're dealing with today, the Arbor One West, North?
Yes,
okay. What is your background dealing with those properties in particular?
So when I was employed with the city previously, I was coordinating the inspections and the head of the building department, direct head of the building department during the inspections in 2022, and then also in 2019 prior to that. And then I've been coordinating.
In legal battles, truth isn't found, it's built, layer by layer, like a fragile argument on shifting sand. And when it finally stands, everyone stares, wondering if it'll hold or crumble under the weight of one more objection, Your Honor.
The inspections and the enforcements under the help of Jerry Dunham, the building department manager and building official for the city.
And have you personally visited these units?
Yes.
Okay. And would you say that you have a sense of what they've been like over time?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been in court, you're familiar that there's been several court orders, and we're here today specifically on a show cause hearing, claiming that the plaintiffs failed to comply with the court order to do specific things to specific units. Are you familiar with that order?
Yes.
Okay. Are you prepared to talk about any of the units that were the subject of that order?
I believe in mid-February, Judge Simpson had asked me to do an inspection of all of the units. In February, after the court order was issued, and so I conducted inspection of all but 2 of those units. I can understand why those 2 were not inspected. Over the 4 days, it was definitely a challenge to get into the properties due to lack of notice and due to lockouts. So, but we were able to inspect all but 2 of the units. We have also inspected after that, so the units that were locked out. So we do have an updated report on those units that I was unable to get into on my February 25th and 28th inspections.
I see. Okay. So the order from February 4th was very specific in the issues that needed to be addressed. Are you aware of any instances that where the work that was listed in the order was not complete?
Yes. There was very little work that was done in between when the order was issued and my inspection. I want to say one building had corrected, one unit had the issues corrected. Not all the issues the city had pointed out, but the issues that were listed in the judge's order, and that was 720 Clark Road, Unit 107. The rest of the units we saw, while some of the work had been started, it was not done in a workmanship manner, and the work would need to be redone.
Can you explain what that means?
Yeah. So when you go in and remove a ceiling fan and then re-drywall above that, the work has to be done in a professional manner as per the manufacturer specifications. And we observed the drywall work was not done correctly, the caulking work was not done correctly, and some of the mold was not remediated.
And what does that really mean? Like, why does it matter?
So when you go in and change a vent fan, if there's mold or water saturation, the drywall will never actually have the correct type separation. It will act as it should when you just paint over wet drywall.
Okay. So, Your Honor, would you like us to go through each individual unit? What would you prefer?
If you want to go through each unit, let's go through each unit.
The first one on the order is, or you mentioned already 720 unit 107. Would that be a good way to go through these? Okay. Well, let's move on to 720 108. The order specifically says heating, water damage, mold, broken windows.
Correct.
Can you tell me whether any of that work was complete and when you inspected that property?
We inspected it on February 27th, 2025. And in that report, we did observe mold and water damage present in it. Then we also did a further inspection in April 2nd, and we saw no change to the work that had been done, and we noted workmanship issues. So still serious issues with the drywall.
Okay.
Specifically on top.
Okay. And you have those records available?
Yeah, I actually recommend all the reports. Reports that I have one for the tenant.
Okay, let's hold off on those just for a moment. Actually, I mean, maybe we should, is it okay, Your Honor, if I approach maybe one for?
Yeah.
You can tell when the truth hits. It doesn't land softly. It arrives like a punch, knocks the air out of the room, and leaves everyone blinking. The judge hides it well, but even justice flinches sometimes.
Do anything more than just in court order. These are the city's
And are these the reports for all of the units that are in litigation, or what are they?
They are the reports for all of the buildings that are before judges right now. Not all the buildings on Arbor One. This is just the buildings that are part of this case.
Okay. And are you familiar with all of these records?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to ask that these be admitted as evidence, exhibit, I think it's probably B at this point. I realize that we haven't had a chance to go through the records, and counsel for plaintiff hasn't either, but.
They haven't mailed to the property manager.
Right, so they should have been in their possession at some point, right? And they are business records, Your Honor. Or city records.
Response.
Your Honor, I guess I'm a little confused as to the process today. Frankly, out of the show cause was pertaining to these cases before the court.
Correct.
And as of today, or as of last week, if not before that, every single one of the tenants that was the subject matter of this court has been relocated in one way or another. Everyone is either in the villas, has gone to a different complex, or is hoteled. There's not one single tenant that's left in a unit that is not up to snuff.
Yeah.
That being said,
Hold on. Stop. Stop. You're out if I hear it again. Go ahead, Mr. Freeman.
that being said, the work on those tenants' units has proceeded to conclusion. So even though they've been relocated, the property manager has redone those units, and they would be suitable for relocation, relocation if they were inspected at this point. So not only has,
What are you telling me that?
what I'm telling you is, I'm sorry.
Go on.
Well, what I'm saying is that Mr. Myers is talking about what his inspection in February of 25, and okay, there was work that needed to be done, but it's been done. And, you know, I think that as far as the show cause is concerned, Arbor One and Arbor One West they've showed up and done the work. And I don't know why we're rehashing what was going on in February, because we've relocated everybody and done work.
May I respond, Your Honor? The violations of the order are the order that was from February. So we're showing that there's a pattern of violating the court's orders. And as you heard a moment ago, the city's prepared to testify as to the current conditions as of April. So I believe that you will hear testimony, Your Honor, that they're not all in complete condition, to the extent that the court wants to consider that. We appreciate that many people have been relocated, but this is a show cause hearing about whether or not they've complied with the court's order.
Well, I guess, Mr. Friedman, the first thing I'd have to ask, because we ran into this problem at the last hearings, and have indeed all of the individuals been relocated? Because that was a problem where it was represented to the court that they had been relocated, and then we found out that they had not been relocated. Well, certain people had not been.
I could provide sworn testimony that they've been relocated.
That everybody that, okay. So then the question, go ahead.
I think, Your Honor, there's one tenant at least who does not have an active case, but was the subject of the court's order, who has not been relocated. So he was included in the court's most recent order. And I believe he will testify that he has not been relocated yet, just for the record.
He's not a part of this case.
I don't know how the court would like to treat that.
People expect justice to look heroic, but more often it looks tired, paperwork stained, coffee fueled, and patient to a fault. Real justice doesn't grandstand. It just waits for the right person to stop lying.
Situation. It is unusual,
Well,
I admit, but he was part of the order.
Okay. Let me move past that just a moment. Then I guess the second point that Mr. Friedman is making is that the testimony I'm hearing, or there seems to be a dispute, maybe not, that there were repairs to the subject and that all of these units are now, well, I don't know that one could say they're in compliance because there's no CO, but that the work was complete. That's what you're indicating to me, Mr.
Correct.
Right. And Ms. Masco, you're indicating that that's not, or are you?
Well, Your Honor, plaintiff has provided access to some of their records. And I looked at this yesterday, the most recent documents. I printed it off, so it wasn't something that they provided to me directly, but it was part of their records. And I believe it was updated in April. And there's a number of instances where people have been moved and it's marked as complete, but it doesn't look that the work was completed. I think maybe it's complete because no one's living there. So, I mean, I didn't
Well,
obviously.
I
create
guess
this
I don't know what that means. That they're marking it as complete because there's no longer anyone residing in the unit, or that the work was actually done, irrespective of whether or not there's somebody in the unit.
I believe, I don't know. I don't want to speak for them, Your Honor, certainly. But it looks to me that there's at least some instances where some of the work was done, but it's not 100% done.
All right.
I mean, I wasn't prepared to take testimony about that because no one's, we're talking about prior orders and whether they're violated and no one's living there, apparently.
Let me ask this. When was of the subject matter units, when was the last time they were inspected?
It depends on the building, but I believe April 8th was the last time, but we also have our record of permits that have been pulled and no building permit, and any of these units have been final, which means the work is not complete. There are some plumbing and mechanical.
There are, or there are
There
not?
are some plumbing, mechanical, building permits that have been final, but the overall building permits have to be final to actually.
Okay.
We're also having a
Greater than average, sir.
so for all of our inspections, we do it at a 5% rate. All inspections, this one's about a 9% rate.
So sometimes it feels like I'm going in a circle, but the last time that we were here, part of the reason that one lease was contemplating work had not been done was because the required permits for the work had not been pulled and or approved. So that the work, at least in theory, couldn't have been done. Is that what is happening at this point, Mr. Meyer?
Yeah, so I have for every one of these units, every permit that's been pulled on these units, whether or not it's issued or final.
So I guess, Mr. Friedman, if there's certain work that needs to be completed, and that in order to complete the work, one needs a permit to do, and the permit hasn't been pulled and completed, then how would I say that the work has been done?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I don't believe we're in a situation where the permits haven't been pulled that needed to be pulled for these particular jobs, for these particular tenants and these particular units. So I believe the permits have been pulled. They may not all have been finalized, but that doesn't mean the work wasn't done. We're kind of wordsmithing a little bit here this morning when he says that the work wasn't completed because the permit hasn't been final inspection. That doesn't mean the work wasn't done. But
well, let's back up then and get away from sort of the wordsmithing. Have the permits, the last time that we were here, part of the issue was the permits had not been pulled.
Well, today,
And
we pulled over 400 permits. Vast majority of which have been final.
would that be about accurate?
Not according to the city.
Pardon?
Not according to the city's records.
$391.
Okay, well, that's about 400. I get that, but I get,
My record 274.
pardon?
My entire 274.
Okay. I always feel like I'm in Washington. We can't even agree on the facts. What would be, where are you getting your 391?
Property
Pardon?
manager.